We often think of a mental health crisis as a sudden, sharp event, an unpredictable explosion that arrives with zero warning. But families and educators who have lived through these moments often see a different story in hindsight. They describe a distinct phase of quiet signals that lasted for weeks or months before the breaking point. We often miss these signs because of a biological blind spot. We are trained to react to loud distress, outbursts, or visible panic, while the real warnings are frequently silent. This is the prevention window, the specific time frame where intervention is most effective, sitting between a normal baseline and the crisis. This window is temporary. If you wait for signs to become obvious and loud, you are waiting for the moment the window slams shut. To prevent a tragedy, we have to look past the expectation of a sudden emergency and learn to decode the whispers that come before it.
There are 5 specific, quiet signals in teens that often go unnoticed because they don't look like traditional trouble. The first is giving away meaningful or highly valued possessions. It's easy for an adult to misinterpret this as a healthy phase of decluttering or simply a student outgrowing their childhood hobbies. The second signal is a sudden, distinct period of calm that immediately follows a long stretch of depression. This isn't necessarily a sign of recovery. Frequently, it is the psychological relief that comes after a person has made a final, fatal decision. The third signal is a student frequently talking about being a burden to their family or their friends. Adults often mistake these comments for typical teenage angst or the kind of self-deprecating venting common in high school. These signals are dangerous because they allow fatalistic thinking to hide behind a mask of maturity, recovery, or normal social behavior. The fourth signal is the act of researching specific methods of self-harm, an activity that usually stays hidden on a private digital device. And the fifth is saying goodbye in ways that feel unusual, overly affectionate, or out of character for the situation. When you notice these patterns, the only response is to trust your instinct. If a child's behavior feels off, it is worth an immediate conversation. The risk of acting is low. The cost of being wrong is one awkward talk, but the cost of waiting is losing the only window you have to change the outcome. However, individual vigilance only works if the school and health systems are actually ready to catch the student when a signal is spotted. Many schools rely on a reactive model, where mental health support is treated as an optional service rather than a core part of the school's daily operation. This model usually follows a tragic cycle. An event occurs, leading to a public board meeting, negative press, and a sudden rush for outside vendors. The problem with this reactive approach is the wait list. If a student has to wait 14 days for an appointment, they are often still waiting well after the prevention window has closed. Rushing to meet state mandates like HB 268 after a crisis has already happened fails to address the underlying need for constant, accessible support. A system built in response to a news cycle is often designed to manage an institution's liability rather than a student's safety. A proactive model is different. It builds a wellness infrastructure into the school's foundation before a crisis ever occurs. MentalSpace School provides this type of integrated support for K-12 schools across Georgia. This model is built on immediacy. Upon a detected signal, the student accesses same-day teletherapy, bypassing the weeks of waiting that block care. These dedicated therapist teams then coordinate directly with school counselors, teachers, and families, ensuring tight integration with HB 268 protocols. To ensure every student is reachable, the model removes financial barriers by accepting major commercial insurance and providing services at no cost for those on Medicaid. The data shows this integration works. Schools using this model have seen an 89% improvement in student attendance and a 92% reduction in reported anxiety. If you see the quiet signals in someone you love, do not wait for the right moment. Reach out to MentalSpace School or call or text 988 immediately. Catching the whisper